Hello everyone, my name is Chris Keller and I'm a music producer from Zambia, Lusaka, under ProCloud Studios. So in today's tutorial video, we're going to look at how to mix vocals in Ableton Live DAW or software. And thanks to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. We definitely now over 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to y'all that have been, supporting this channel by subscribing, liking, commenting, and everything and all that, sharing and all that. I'm so grateful because it really helps me a lot. So without wasting much of your time, we're just going to dive into this project today. We'll be looking at a project by Peter. The first thing that you will see once you open Ableton is this view. So we're just going to click new live set. If you're not having this, just click new live set right here and this will pop up. So once this comes through, you can now save the project to however you want to save it. So in this case, I'm going to save it as this. This is a project by Dozer PIP and it's called Right on Time. So the first thing that we're going to do is first of all delete these MIDI channels because we definitely don't need them. You need this if you're going to record any instruments, from a MIDI controller or the like. So now the first thing that we're going to put in is our instrument. So I'm just going to go to the folder and pick the bit and then bring it while you hold left click and drop into your project. To zoom out, you can just hold your control key while using your mouse knob. Mouse wheel, sorry. So now that we've brought in our bit, as you notice, I saved it as 95. That's for the BPM. So I'm just going to make sure that the BPM is exactly, though Ableton was able to intelligently detect the BPM of the beat without me changing it. But we need it to be exactly 95. So you're just going to click this once and then click 95 from your keyboard, and then that'll be okay. So let's just double check the beat by double clicking and checking here. As you've noticed, this is not the exact 95 BPM. We need it to be exactly. So what we're going to do is click warp once and then click back at it again, and it will set the files into the actual BPM. Cool, right? Yeah. So moving ahead, let's just play the beat to see what we have here. Let me just play the beat. So as you can see from here, we were not clipping. One thing that I love doing just to be safe is putting a limiter, a fabfilter limiter there. So I'm just going to go into my instruments, my plugin folder, and look for the fabfilter limiter plugin by fabfilter. So here it is. I'm just going to drop it in there. So now that I've put that plugin there, let's just play the beat again. I'm going to select a specific area where we can be playing from. So let's say that, and Control L and then Control space. So let's just rename that to bits so we stay organized. And then the next thing that we're going to try and do now is to bring in our vocals. So I'm going to start with, let's say, the Dozer lead for now. Let's see what we have in there. Then bring it in there. Okay. So I'll mute the beat for now while we try and preview the vocal. Let me just double click to make sure that the vocal is in the same tempo. As you can see, it's not. So like we did before, click the warp button and click it again, and that issue will be solved. Cool, right? I know. So I'm just going to play that.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, so that's how our vocal is sounding. So the first thing to do, so we try to bring in some volume to this, is add plugins, obviously, compression and all that stuff. But before you do that, the first thing you do is put this in a group channels. How do you do that? You press Ctrl G, or you come here and press this. So now you have it in a group. this is where all our leads will be going in. So we're going to rename this as leads. So any leads that have singing vocals will be going into that. So now that we have that, the next thing we're going to do is create another group channel. This might not make sense to you right now, but it will make sense soon. So we'll make another group channel for the leads. We'll press the same thing while highlighting. Make sure you are on the leads channel. You press Ctrl G again, and I'm going to rename that as our mix. For those that watched my other tutorial video, you understand what I'm doing. So, and the last thing, again, we're going to do is create another group channel. So by pressing Ctrl G on the mix channel and renaming that to, we're going to rename that as our final group channel. So we're going to rename that as our final group channel. All right, now that we have that, let's just play and see if we'll be able to get the volumes from the signal, audio signal from all this group channel.
Even when your vision tarry.
So as you can see, we're able to get audio signal from all this. That means what we're doing was correct and accurate. So now that we have that, remember, we haven't done any compressing, any increase in volume yet. We just tried to group this so that it'll be easy for us to add anything to this channel without doing too much. So the first thing that we're going to do now is go back to our mixing area. As you know, we've got the reverb, the reverb, send, delay, send. That's all. We've got two return channels rather. So we're going to create another one. So this will be for our outputs. For those that watched my last tutorial, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's just create this insert return channel, and we're going to rename this to output. So this is where our output will be. So now that we have that, as you can see, our output is on C. Hence, this has been created. So now our lead, we're going to send our lead to our output. But before we do that, while you're on your output, just go to this area which is saying audio 2 and change this to exterior out. Boom. So on this output, that's all we need to do. We're not going to put any plugins there. No, that's all we're going to do. So going back to our lead channel here, we're now going to send this C, give signal to our output. But let me play you the audio right now while I send it so that you'll be able to see the increase in volume.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
So for those that are using the right pair of headsets, you might have noticed obviously a slight increase in volume while we sent this to our output. So this is the only thing that we're going to do in our leads concerning the output thing. That's all. The next thing that we're going to do now is start adding our plugins. So as always, we're going to try and start with our NS1 get, just to remove some of that background noise that we don't need. So I'm just going to search for NS1 by waves in here, and let's see where you're at. Okay, see it. So we're going to use the stereo configuration plugin. So, and let's play this.
Even when your vision tarry.
We're going to take it up to around 20.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, so we're going to leave it around there because we don't need to do too much, because then we'll be cutting the vocal part, which we don't need to try and mess up right now. And by the way, while you do this, the next thing we're going to do is bring in an EQ just now to cut out unnecessary or unwanted frequencies in the vocal. So we're just going to look for our EQ. Where is our EQ? We're going to use the EQ8 by Ableton. If you don't know where to find this, you can just go in audio effects and then go to your EQ section and then choose EQ8. We're actually going to put this before the NS1. So let's play this.
Even when your vision tarry.
So the first thing that you do is cut out the low area like that. And what I love to do is just take it way far and then start coming back to a point where you feel like, oh, this feels more natural and the like. So let's do that.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it around 160. Sorry about that, 160.
Even when your vision tarries.
Okay, cool. And then, okay, that can be 0.75. All right, and then we're just going to go to the next band, which is the 2, to cut out some of those boxiness or noisy sounding areas in your vocal.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
So I'm just going to cut around this area. So I'm going to cut around, I think about -3 dBs of that.
Even when your vision tarries.
And then maybe widen the band. Sorry, I'm supposed to come here, and then let's try out 1.5. Okay.
Even when your vision tarries.
Okay, and from here now, what we're going to do is find some annoying frequencies around this area. Let me just make this beat, okay?
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries, don't give.
Okay, there's an annoying frequency right there. So what I'm going to do is just cut that out around maybe 4-5 dBs of that, and then make this okay.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up.
Yeah, so let's say that.
Even when your vision tarries.
Okay, now to add some presence, we're going to use this band. We're going to go for maybe around 8,000. Okay, that's what I would recommend for this type of vocal. And then just boost it up. Let's see.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
I'm going to go for 3 dBs. I think 3 dBs will do.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries.
Okay, so let's just do a bypass to see the difference.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up.
So it sounds much clearer if you can, if you're using the right pair of headsets, you'll be able to tell. Let me just play one more time.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, now that we've cleaned some of those annoying frequencies in the vocal, the next thing to do here now is to add a de-esser. And I'm going to try and use one of these self-de-essers I created in Ableton. And then just, if you need this preset, just let me know and I'll try to make one. So let's see what we have there. So a de-esser is used to take care of some of those sibilants, annoying sibilants in the vocal, that's type of sounds. So let's listen to that.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
I'm gonna do a bypass.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
So with the de-esser, the sibilance type of sounds were taken care of. Okay, so let's play that.
Even when your vision tarries.
So the vocal sounds much smoother. So the next thing that we're going to do now, by the way, this is too big. So what we're going to do to make it a bit smaller is press the negative option on your keyboard, and that will reduce your plugin into that. So you can do the same with any plugin in Ableton, by the way. So that will minimize the plugins. So as I was saying, the next thing now that we're going to do is bring in our pitch corrector. I'm going to go for I recommend using the Autotune for artists when you're using it in Ableton. So for this project, I used the key of E minor. It was in E minor. So make sure you put the key of your project, of your song there. And then I'm just going to go for the low mel and then increase the humanize so that the vocal sounds more natural and not very robotic. And then I'm going to take this down to 100 so it sounds more relaxed. And then increase the retune to about, I don't need much, maybe 12. For now, let's see what we have there.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries.
Okay, so we're going to go with those settings for now with the Autotune. We'll increase it later if we need to increase it. So for now, we're going to keep that. And the next thing that we're going to do now is add a compressor to this. R-Compressor by Waves. And then add the next. So let's just try and first compress the vocal to a point where it stays consistent on most of the areas, because some areas of the vocal are low, so we need that consistency in the vocal. So this is why we need to bring in the compressor. So the first thing that I look for is go for the threshold. I look for the value of the vocals, the average level of the vocal.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries.
For now, I'll start with the 26 and then I'll bring in the ratio.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
For the 4:1 ratio for now.
Even when your vision.
As you can see, we have about -7 reduction, so we're just going to gain that back. But I won't use a same 7. You can still use it. Okay, let's see first how much we'll be able to reduce by adding more fast attack.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Now I've gone up to -9, so I'll just go maybe about 8 of gain, you know, to gain back some of that lost volume. So I'll go for the 8, just a bit below the information that we have here.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, and then maybe I'll just reduce it maybe one more time, just around here.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, let me play that again with the beat.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, so I like how healthy we are adding the volume to the vocal, because you always want to lift it in very small amounts. That's how you'll be able to achieve clean mixes or clean, healthy, loud vocals. So we only increased it to about 8 because we had that reduction of almost -9 and on 9 dBs or 10 dBs. So this is why I had to go for that. So we can close the compressor for now, because with that, at least we've established some consistency in the vocal. So the next thing that we're going to do now is, now that we've had the compressor thing there, is bring in another de-esser just to cut off some of those sibilants that we managed to bring back because of the gain in the compressor. So I'm just going to copy the de-esser settings that we had there and just bring it back there. Let's listen to that.
Even when your vision tarries, Don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, now at this stage, we're going to go into our mix channel and then add in an EQ, because obviously we had some of those lows brought back because of all the compressing, the gain that we did on the compressor. So I'm just going to go for the EQ 8 again and bring it there just to cut off some of those lows.
Even when your vision,
So I'm talking about these that came about.
even when your vision tarry,
So we're going to cut them out like that.
even when your vision tarry,
So just by doing that, I'm sure you've noticed that they've disappeared, but we're still going to roll off more, maybe about 130.
even when your vision tarry,
Much better. And then we're going to roll off some of those 400, or let's go for 380 this time. And then bring down about -3 and
even when your vision tarry,
okay, same thing with the high mids. We're going to, let me increase this maybe about 3 again, and then reduce about -3 on this area. For you that are new to this who don't know what I'm cutting off, let me just play what I'm cutting off.
even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries,
So there's a frequency in there that is annoying. So I'm just going to reduce this maybe as 500 and then reduce it by -3.
even when your vision tarries,
Okay, we're going to increase this about 4 maybe.
even when your vision tarries,
Okay, so our vocals are dry right now. We don't have reverb right now. This is why they sound, you won't hear the best out of this, but you soon hear that what we're doing is right once we start adding the reverbs and the like. So at this point, now that we've added that EQ in there, the next thing that I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to reduce this mix group by -2. All right, and then let's listen to that with a beat.
even when your vision tarries,
Okay, so our vocal is still low, as you can tell, so don't worry about that. Next thing that I'm going to do now is add another vocal plugin by Waves. The CLA Vocals plugin by Chris Lord. He's one of my favorite plugins. So let's just load it in, okay, and let's play the vocal now.
even when your vision tarries,
You know, just by putting it on, it adds a smoothness and everything. I'm sure you notice the difference from how the vocal sounding before and after. So let me just mute all of this and we start editing them one by one for those that we need. So I'm going to start with the lows.
even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, and then the bite won't do anything on it. Then go to the compressor.
Even when your vision tarries,
As you can hear, you can't hear any difference even as I was lifting that gain knob. So we're going to choose the other compressor.
even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Cool, now we can add the reverb to this.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, and then I'm going to add a stereo.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right.
2 is okay.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up.
So let's just play that with the beat together and see what we have.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
sure you've noticed this nice smoothness that we have experienced from the vocal just by doing that, but still we behind in terms of volume. The vocal is still not standing out enough. So one plugin that we're going to do is go back. One thing that we're going to do first is go back to our lead channel and add an RVox plugin. So let me just type in RVox there. Let's add it to our lead group channel. Okay, and then let's try to play it with the beats and increase it.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll...
See what happened? I know some of you were doubting me at first, but look at what happened. So this is dub and the vocal is now loud and all that stuff. I know some of you were saying, oh, the volume and the compression I was adding was too much. Yeah, this will be too much if your beat was low. So if you're using a beat with low volume, make sure, obviously your settings will be much lower than mine. But because the beat I was using is very loud, this is why I'm using this type of volume amount. So at the end of the day, as long as it sounds good and it sounds in a way that it should, in the way that you want it to be, then that's what's important. So now that we have that, let me just play it one more time.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries.
Okay, so one thing now that I've noticed is that the vocal still sounds like it needs more presence to it because of the de-essing that we did. So to bring back some of those lost, air, that lost air in the vocal, we'll go for another EQ, but this time we'll use a Waves EQ. So I'm just going to go and choose this one of my favorite EQs, Waves EQs, and then just put this behind the vocal plugin. And then in here, just go and look for the male vocal boost plugin. And as you can see, it lifted that high end, but we're going to reduce this to about 4 because 6 will be too much. And let's listen to that.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
I think now I'm even going to try and maybe reduce this gain to maybe around 6.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries.
Okay, cool. And now the next thing that we're going to do now is going to add the limiter in the final group channel by Waves. I'm going to choose L2, and then just to make sure the vocal is limited properly in a healthy way.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries.
The last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the SSL comb by Waves again and just choose this mastering plugin.
Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision tarries, don't give up, it'll be right on time.
Okay, so let's try out this. Remember, this is, if it's showing like this, it means it's not in any group channel. So this is a lead vocal, so I'm going to put it in the lead group channel that we created. So just hold this and then take it to where drop it inside the leads. Now it's in the lead group channel. So let's listen to that.
Time you be past and your friends progress and you left behind. They started together. God spoke and the world came to life. God spoke and the world came to life. Everything is spoke over your life can't work. No word return to him void. He never late but always on time, like an express Uber. Let him drive you to your destination. In his arms you so free like you on vacation. Speak that vision, then keep quiet. Make that declaration. Time you be past and your friends progress and
it's already sounding good. And the only thing that probably we need to add, I know some of you delay lovers, so this is what we're going to do next. So I'm going to go for the H delay by Waves. Where are you at? Okay, so let's add. So make sure that you put your delay properly. So don't put this after the vocal channel. So we're going to rather put it, it's going to be at the first. And by first I mean even, after the EQ, sorry. So now that we have that, just drop down the analog, because I'm sure if you are using the right POVSS, you are hearing that analog sound. So just remove it, and it's now gone. So let's play the vocal now without the beat. Let's just see what we have. So we're going to go for the 1/8 for now, and then let's listen to that. So we're going to cut out some frequencies, obviously.
They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better. But that don't mean you don't have a chance. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Trust in the Father, He sees and knows everything can flourish with tears of joy. Keep on pushing, no matter how heavy the weights be. Don't miss the goal. You a top scorer. Christ already laid the foundation.
Just added 2% of the word information, and then now let's play everything together. Remember, always add few amounts, especially in this type of situation, in this type of arrangement, rather plug-in arrangement, for you to get the best and not really adding a lot of amounts. Little is more, remember that.
Time you be past and your friends progress and you left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better. But that don't mean you don't have a chance. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Trust in the Father, He sees and knows everything can flourish with tears of joy. Keep on pushing no matter how heavy the weights be. Don't miss the goal, you a top scorer.
So big ups to PIP, those are PIP by the way. So let me just now, if you wanted to add more delay in the lead vocal as well, yeah, we can go for, this is optional. Everything that I'm adding now is optional because sometimes you don't even need the delays. So I'm just going to go for the timeless delay, and then I'm going to add it just right before the de-esser so that it will also be de-essed a bit. We're putting this in the lead vocal channel. So let's listen to that.
Time you be past and your friends progress and you left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better. But that don't mean you don't have a chance. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Trust in the Father, He sees and knows everything can flourish with tears of joy. Keep on pushing no matter how heavy the weights be. Don't miss the goal, you a top scorer. Christ already laid the foundation. You can be a judge for queenness. Time you be past and your friends progress and you left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better. But that don't mean you don't have a chance. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Trust in the Father, He sees and knows everything can flourish with tears of joy. Keep on pushing no matter how heavy the weights be. Don't miss the goal, you a top scorer. Christ already laid the foundation. You can be a judge for queenness.
So I don't know about you, but this is how you mix vocals in Ableton. If you want to find out how we're going to mix the background vocals, make sure to make a request and subscribe to this channel, because I'll be making another tutorial video on how to do that in Ableton. So the only thing that I can try to add at this point is create actually we don't need this channel anymore, so we're going to rename this to our doubler, and then can even delete this channel because I don't think I need it. So so in this we're just going to add a doubler. We're going to replace this plugin with the waves doubler. So let's go back to, okay, we're just going to go with the doubler 4, and then okay, and then choose the doubler voices, and then after doing that, make sure you deactivate the direct vocal, because we only need the side. And then here you can activate this and maybe bring it down to around 4, and then activate that and cut off some lows. We're basically doing this to create space for everything at the end of the day. So some of you might be like, oh, okay, let's try to hear it before you do that and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is play the leading vocal or the beat, and then I'm going to send it to, this is our doubler is in air, so I'm going to send it there so you see exactly what we were adding. And by the way, I'm adding the doubler using the mix channel. Remember that, very important. I'm not using the lead. You can do that, but in this case we're using the mix group channel. So let's play it and see what we have with just that sound.
Time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind. They started together.
So that's what you get at the full 100% mix level. So let's just EQ that.
Time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better.
So I hope it makes sense why I was EQing. I'm sure you know, just it sounded more smoother and you know, stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm just going to now bring down the level of the doubler in here so that it sounds more clean. Obviously this is not how we want the song to sound like. So
time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better. But that don't mean you don't have a chance. Don't lose hope.
So I'm going to reduce it also maybe about 50% of this. So let me put it on the middle. Okay.
Time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind.
Then while we're in the doubler, I'm going to add a flanger just to give it some cool effect to it. I'm going to put that before the doubler. Let's listen to that.
Time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done.
So bring it down to the same amount we had used before.
Time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind. They started together. Time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better. But that don't mean you don't have a chance. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Trust in the Father, season was a vina. Everything can flourish with tears of joy. Keep on pushing no matter how heavy the weights be. Don't miss the goal, you a top scorer. Christ already laid the foundation. You can be a Joseph, a Queen Esther. Even when your vision carries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. Even when your vision carries, don't give up, it'll be right on time. God spoke and the word came to life. Everything is spoke over your life can't work. No word return to him void. He never let back on.
Okay, you get the point.
Time you have to pass and your friends progress and you're left behind. They started together, pain in your heart, and you blame yourself, wishing you could have done better. But that don't mean you don't have a chance. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Trust in the Father.